So how can I start? Yeah, I started paddling when I was 19, and that was in 2000, the end of 2000, December. I started really my first race. And 2003 I did the Hawaii Kinui. We won the Hawaii Kinui 2003, and I was with Whareara. And then 2005 we made the Manutea Owen. We paddled Outlaw 2006. We start from behind, and then we came in the race 5th every lap, and we were 3rd overall. And then 2007 we were banned. And then 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, we finished the 4th. Was our worst result at the Hawaii Kinui. Because we have a different way of seeing the paddling. There's different way of paddling. There's the old school, where it's more based on the strength and digging the paddle really deep, going to get the pari, we say the hard one, you know, and pull as hard as you can and keep on going the whole way, you know, like that's the old way. The more you punch it, the more good it is, you know. The more you dig in, even if your hand goes in the water, it's even good, you know. It works good when the people are stocky too, because they can't, you know, they cannot go in rhythm like people who are skinnier, maybe like me, you know. It depends on your body shape too. It's like in Tahiti we have a team called Paddling Connection too. I think you know Paddling Connection. They won Hawaii Kinui last year. They're more stocky guys like the Hawaiians, and they have a slower stroke, and they're still up there. You have my team where the guys are skinny, or I have 2 guys that are tall like that, 2 on the team, and they're all skinny like me. I'm the heaviest guy with Manutea on the crew. I am the heaviest guy on the crew. So when you have that type of guys, you can have a faster stroke because you don't have as much power as the bigger guys. So you need more rhythm, and that's more our technique, based on catching the bumps, like kind of Hawaiian style. Every bump we try to catch and rest and catch and rest and until the arrival. In Tahiti the bumps are shorter compared to here. Here you have longer bumps, you have longer canoes. So over there we have short bumps, which means it's like a short board, or the canoes are shorter, lighter, and you gotta maneuver faster. You have a whole bunch of boat during the races, so that's why it's hard too when Hawaiians they go to Tahiti, I think. It's different water and whole bunch of boats. You gotta learn how to do the race with the boats. So my technique is more based on the new technique, like less on the power, and like I said the last time, trying to visualize every time you go paddle. You got to think, how can I go as fast as I can, putting as less energy as I can, because the canoe will have its speed, maximum speed. You cannot go faster than the speed. And if you're at 100% and the canoe is only at 60% of the capacity, that means you're going too much for what it's giving. So you gotta find that thing, and you gotta, like I said too, paddle with the breathing. That's the main thing. You gotta match your breathing with the way you're paddling, your stroke. The faster the stroke is, the faster the breathing is. The slower the breathing. But for me, paddling is more like running on the water, you know, like doing a run. You know, when you go run, if you gonna start having cramps and stuff, you gotta breathe out, and it's the same for the canoe. You push, and then once you've pushed, you got this little release where you can have a longer stroke, a slower stroke, put your air back out so you can have your muscle release, and you're not tetanized after 20 minutes. You're not like trying to go like this, and that's why you gotta breathe, match, feel how you breathe with your paddling first. And then you got different stroke, depending on what race you're gonna do too. You got the short distance race. Are you gonna do the sprints? Are you gonna do the long distance? On the long distance, it's like I said, it's based on the waves. We try to catch every bump. It's all a matter of connection with the stroker, the captain in the middle, and the steersman. And us, we have a team where the guys also, we've been paddling together for so many years. We don't have other quality of paddlers. We're only 5,000 people, and the best paddlers, luckily, are on my team. And you cannot put another one, because actually we're always 6 or 5 guys, and then the other one's at another level, like. So we try to keep it together, work together, and then you work automatism. They know when I'm placing the canoe. You know, you can read. Everybody understand what they're doing. I use my number 5 a lot too. You know, when there's a lot of surf or it's very tactical, I try to say, hey, you know, try to stay on that side, or, you know, can you hold it on that side so I can poke on that side, and that's how you get to for me in Tahiti to be a good steersman is also to learn how to use your assistant. And like I said, our stroke is more up. Like instead of having the stroke going like this, we have it more like this. Just as long as the blade is fully in the water, that's when you can pull it. And it's trying not to put some air in the paddle too, you know, like silent, you know. Have that wrist movement too. It's the wrist that makes you able to go to pop the paddle right there if you want it right there. Instead of having to carry the paddle like this, you have the wrist go like this, and you can make the paddle go like this, and have that little movement, you know, with the wrist. That little, you got to work a lot with the wrist. And also in your back, for my technique, when you're strong or you do a lot of exercise, you do a lot of training, sometimes your back gets blocked, you know, especially after a certain age. That's why you got to do a lot of stretching. If your back is blocked, you're very strong. Sometimes you're gonna tend to paddle like this, you know. You got to have this little movement, you know. You got to be loose. You got to have a philosophy of staying loose the whole way, staying relaxed, you know. If you go too much in the pounding, you're gonna finish all cramped out and everything. That's why you got to breathe out all the time. And I poke, and I pull first with the back, you know. It's the back that takes all the power. It's not the arm that's gonna take it. Once the back starts, you know, taking the woo, like I see, taking from 20 to 60 to 100, that's when the arm comes in to release, so that your paddle doesn't go like this too. So it's, you know, it stays at a certain depth, like I said, like this, instead of going like this. That's why you gotta find the right moment to bend your arm, but also bend your wrist. And the power point is always on the front. Once you get to your knees, that's when you start releasing. Even though you're not putting your paddle out of the water, like we were talking to my friend earlier, even though you're not putting it out, you're letting it go of it. You're releasing what you've, you know, like what you've taken in front. Like you take that power point, you build that power, and then once you get to the knees, you start releasing it. Learn how to take it, build it, and then release it, like, because if you don't release it the right way, your canoe's gonna go like this. When you want to go like this, the canoe's gonna go. That's how this release, the way you release with the wrist and the elbow too going up, so you can go like this, you know. You can paddle faster, have a faster stroke instead of going like this. You can have the shoulder movement, you know. Same for the paddling. Sometimes a lot of people have a hard time putting their paddle straight. So you just gotta lift a little more your shoulder the opposite way, you know. And have that pivoting. My technique is the top of the body goes like this, from here to here. Have this little movement, and this here goes like this. Po, 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 po. Hoo, 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 hoo. And always have the power on the front, because when you go too much, like I said, when you poke it on the front, it makes the canoe go up. When you start to get there to the 100%, you're making it go forward. And then you got to release it, because if not, you're going to make it go down. That's why you release it from here and have that feeling. It's all little techniques that are put together, giving you a lot of different techniques. And one technique is got to be worked one at a time. If you try to do everything at the same time, you're like, I don't understand, it's all messed up, you know? So sometimes you think you know, but when I look at you, you're like, oh, you don't get it yet, you know? It's like all words that I'm saying, but you gotta feel what I'm talking about, like, trying to express a feeling, like, you gotta feel what you're taking. And when you release it, like I said to my friend, progressively, wow! And as you're releasing it, you let go of your hand, you know, you're not squeezing. That's where you can have a resting point too. At the moment where you release you're releasing the power, you're just, how you say, you're just going with the power you've done. You release it, and as you turn your hand, you gotta find the right momentum. You gotta feel when as you release it, you're gonna feel the paddle want to go like this in your hand, like ready to pop. That's how you just lift your shoulder and go like this, you know, You release it, and when you feel it's gonna pop, okay, you just go with it. Instead of squeezing it and pushing it forward, you just lift your shoulder and feel the paddles as you turn it with the power. As you turn it's gonna go like a rubber, you know. You go like this, it's gonna wanna go. But you gotta feel it at what moment it wants to pop, because that's when you're gonna rest on the way back. It's like whoop, and then sha, whoop sha, whoop sha, whoop sha, whoop sha. In that vision, huh? And then the reading, the bumps, everything. It's all about the eyes afterwards. Once you go out, learn the ocean, and on the 6 men, it's all about that momentum. Everybody's doing the same thing. Pa 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 pa. Hey, we call with sounds, huh? On my team. We're pushing, or whip, whip. Hey! Once the wave comes, you know. And then sometimes we're right there, and you just have that little extra on the front. It's gotta be progressive when you speed too, and don't just go. You gotta go. But still in the smoothness, and you know, breathing and having that little wristing and momentum. Huh? You gotta feel when the canoe wants to pop for that little rest. That's when you have this little resting period, you know. If not, often you're always doing, you know, carrying a little bit your canoe, your paddle forward, you know. Now with little momentum, you can, and also try to have the back straight, you know, instead of paddling like this. I've seen some say, oh, you gotta go on the front like this, but no, it's better to be straight like this and have a movement like this, you know. Have the paddle go like this instead of having it like this, you know. Or too much like this too. Sometimes when you try to put too much angle, you're kind of paddling like this, you know. Don't put too much angle. You got to feel where you're feeling good, like this, you know. You don't have to go all the way like this, or you know. But it's all about the pivoting, you know. Like I said too. Gotta work that canoe, you know. If you can make baby canoes, it's good. And same on the 6 man. When everybody in the canoe is doing this little movement at the same time, that's what gives that extra glide to the canoe. Work on the feeling, and that's why I like the rudderless, because you don't have the rudder slowing you down, so you feel really the glide until it stops, you know, just with nothing, you know. But you can feel it with the rudder too, but it's harder to feel it, huh? But you got to feel that little momentum. If not, all the time you're going instead of going. Have that thing in your head. Try to go. Try to go. You know, have that little wow. Not going too much like that. You know, going like that, more like. Any questions? Did I talk too fast or too much? And match it with your breathing. And with the people you're paddling with, it's all about confidence. On my team, sometimes we start doing good results and people are a bit high, and you gotta say, we gotta stay humble, work together, and there's no superstar on the team, even though there's better one-man paddlers. And when everybody work together, stay humble, and you can compete against Shell, and we're happy we beat Shell again last year, 3 years in a row, you know. It's great for us when we have a small team. We don't have the sponsors and anything, and that's what motivates us. You know, that's the motivation too you put in the canoe. If you're there for the trip, it's different just for the trip. Of course, we're there for the trip too, but if you're only there for the trip, maybe you go in a different crew, you know, if you have objectives, and you got to be respectful though with everybody, and that's how we work. Even when we go to races in Tahiti or what, you know, everybody take care of the house, you know, respect, do your dishes, everybody do their thing, you know. We're not at the hotel or whatever, you know.
What is the biggest difference when you guys won Hawaii, you know, compared to the other years? What all clicked for you guys? 2003.
2003 was that. We had a good energy together, and we had this new way of seeing the paddling. We're in between the old school and the new school, and we started kind of bringing, with me and mate A and the captain, we had the same vision, which wasn't really the vision of the older paddlers that were there before us. And that's how we started doing our vision and realizing that it works, you know. We did